Hi, I'm Julie Kelly and welcome to my 5-minute teachings on Tibetan Buddhism. And today I'd like to talk about the Four Noble Truths. Now, for anybody that's exploring Tibetan Buddhism, you'll have heard about the Four Noble Truths. And what they are, it's really about the nature of suffering and actually stopping that suffering from happening. So really, the first noble truth is acknowledging that all life is suffering. Now, that probably sounds like a real doom, doesn't it? To think that all life is suffering. But if you think about it, just think about any situation that doesn't involve suffering. Now, it's really difficult because let's think about our relationships. So, we're in a relationship and it's really happy. We're with the man or woman of our dreams. But we know that one day that relationship will end. Now, it will either end with death or infidelity. One or the other. So there'll be an element of suffering. We age and we start to feel aches and pains. We start to get illnesses, and that's suffering as well. So our bodies break down. We become old and we become frail. The things that we own, they're also impermanent. They break down, they decay, they break. So nothing is permanent and everything has an element of suffering. So the second noble truth is being able to grasp this, understand this, because if we can't understand it, we stay in that cycle of feeling like we're immortal. And then when something happens to prove otherwise, it throws us into chaos. So we have to understand that all life is suffering, and then we acknowledge and absorb that. But when we've acknowledged and absorbed that, we then have to think about a way that we can alleviate that suffering. And it's not just for ourselves either, because everyone in the world goes through an element of suffering. So once we can grasp that, then we've got to think about how we can make life better for other people, how we can try and help people and try and alleviate some of their suffering. And in Tibetan Buddhism, we look at karma. So every time we try to alleviate someone's suffering, we're also getting our own positive karma, as well as changing someone else's life for the better. Now, the fourth noble truth is about putting those realizations into action. So actually going out there into our communities and benefiting others. Really helping people and really doing something productive with what we understand. So those are the four noble truths. But in order to grasp that all nature is suffering, we must really start to look around and understand that particular terminology and that particular fact. But we need to go and experience for ourselves. So those are the four noble truths. Realising that all life is suffering, being able to grasp and acknowledging, then thinking about how we can alleviate that suffering for ourselves and others, and then actually going to do it. So that's the Four Noble Truths. I hope you found this useful, and I hope it's given you a good explanation of what they are. Obviously, it's more in depth than that, but to take on too much information all at once can be a bit confusing with Tibetan Buddhism because it's very deep and very complex. So that's really my teaching for today. I hope it's been helpful. But if you want to know more about the work that I do, just catch me on www.juliekelly.co.uk, or you can find me on Facebook at Let's Talk Spirituality Radio. Thanks for joining me. Bye.